Hello and welcome to another episode of the Daily Breakthrough. I am your host, Kwame Kuadey, and somebody asked me a question recently about why I started a daily podcast. And that was because I had launched a much longer version of my podcast, which is called the Breakthrough Podcast, which is the platform where I actually go deep into topics and into things that I want to discuss or things I want to share. But I got to a point where I was feeling frustrated because I had a lot more to share that did not lend themselves to that long format podcast. And so I'll have all these topics that are building up that I was eager to share, but I didn't have a way to package them into bite size in a longer podcast format. And so I decided that the best way to actually deliver this message was to go into a daily podcast format. That's why I started the Daily Breakthrough. And the main goal of that is to provide short, bite sized, actionable tips, ideas, and resources that will help you get through your day, to help you win the day, to help you attack the day and get through it no matter what, and be able to come out each day feeling like you've moved the ball forward. So that is the main reason why I went on this journey to start a daily podcast. But there were other reasons behind it. And so I want to share that with you today. So the first one is that it's a habit. I want to really break through, no pun intended. I want to really break through as a podcast host. It's one of the best formats that suits me in terms of content. I feel alive, I feel natural. I am excited when I'm recording a podcast because I think I have a lot to say, and it's the format that allows me to say it in a way that makes me feel comfortable. So I wanted to build this muscle, this podcasting muscle, and the best way to do it is to do it a lot. And consistency and repetition and practice is the best way to learn something and make progress at it. So recording once a week or once a month was not going to cut it. I needed to do it more often. And so coincidentally, a daily podcast allows me to be able to master this format, learn very quickly. And there's a lot of things I need to learn. Number one, I need to learn about just the systems that I need to be able to produce at this scale. You know, you have to think about your topics and how you develop your topics, you know, where the topics comes from. There's all these things that you have to build to support this volume of content. And so for me, doing it daily was the best way to go. So every weekday, I'm putting out a podcast. So now I have to create a system to deliver on that. Number two, a daily podcast allows me to also figure out my messaging. There is so much I want to say, but I cannot say everything. There is a target audience. There's a particular audience I want to reach and help, which is entrepreneurs. I want to help entrepreneurs break through by achieving or doing the hard things. You know, my goal is to build resilient entrepreneurs who can get through anything. And my way of doing that is to help them take adversity and turn it into an advantage. So I have to build a whole body of content around what that means. And so a daily podcast allows me to be able to refine that message and be able to see what is working, what resonates with you guys, and what doesn't, to see what questions you have so that I can get more feedback very quickly and be able to understand. Because this is one of the things that I also teach. As an entrepreneur, you know, you come at a problem with a solution, but you're only guessing that this solution is going to solve the problem until you go to the customer, you go to your audience, put it out there, let them react to it. So this is all part of that customer discovery process. And a daily podcast offers me that opportunity to be able to test these ideas and make sure that they actually resonate and that it is actually what you guys need to turn adversity into an advantage, to be able to do the hard things that you face so that you can break through to the other side, to be able to build resilience as an entrepreneur and build resilience in your business. So, that is why I started a daily podcast. So, my advice to you is if you want to start a podcast, get a frequency that allows you to learn very quickly. So, in the beginning, do a lot more than you think you should, because that will shorten your learning curve. It will allow you to iron out all your kinks, and you can settle on a much slower schedule later. Once you know what you're doing, you know your audience, you know your voice, you know you've set up your system, your processes, and then you can figure out what the future frequency is going to be. But in the beginning, my belief is that the reason why a lot of podcasters quit, or a lot of people quit, is that you record one episode, you don't get any feedback, and then you get depressed, and then you're like, okay, this is not for me. In the beginning, you're not going to get a lot of views, but keep going, because in your mind you have a mission, and your mission is to master your process, your system, your messaging, and your audience, and understand them better. So you're on a fact-finding mission, and the frequency of how much you post is what's going to help you get that mastery that you're looking for. So that's all I have for today. Until the next time, keep pushing forward.